Hi, I'm Michelle Musselwhite, registered dietitian with HGM Health in Pineville, and today we're going to talk about weight management and portion sizes. So you may have already heard me talk about the Mediterranean meal plan, making healthier choices and everything, having a balanced plate. But now we want to focus on one critical aspect, and that is our weight. Having a healthy weight is going to be important to decreasing our risk for progression or development of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, different types of cancers, just a multitude of different disease processes. So we want to definitely be focusing on a healthy weight. And unfortunately, our weight is influenced by a number of different things. It can be impacted by our age, genetics, our social environment. It can be impacted by what we're choosing to eat, how much we eat, our activity level, as well as our exercise level. So many things do impact our weight. And I'll talk about a few others in just a moment. But just looking at our weight, all of this information is going to be important whether you're trying to maintain your current weight, losing a little bit of weight, or potentially regaining some weight that you lost maybe while you were in the hospital or throughout your illness. So keep that in mind as you're listening to some of the different concepts and everything. So one thing that you can do to keep track of your nutrition would be to keep a food record. That helps to give you a lot of different information about maybe how many times you're eating out at restaurants, how many times you've skipped your meals, how many times you've just grabbed something like a pack of crackers instead of eating, or maybe even just how often you have or have not consumed water or sugary beverages, things of that nature. So keep a food record. There's a lot of different tools that you can use. You can use pen and paper and just write down what you're doing. You can use a spreadsheet that you've made on your computer. You can use a lot of different apps that are available for your phone, computer, iPad, such as MyFitnessPal, Lose It app, Noom. So there's lots of different ones that you can try to use and track your nutrition. So keep that in mind, and it's not just about calories, it's also about what you are actually choosing to eat and how much you are choosing to eat. So a couple of other things to look at would be making sure that you're not skipping your meals. So trying to eat maybe within 1 to 2 hours of waking up. It can be something light, a little container of yogurt, egg omelet or egg white omelet with some vegetables in there. It can be a bowl of cereal. Just put some nuts in there to give you a little bit of protein and fat. So trying to do a few things to just kind of get that metabolism going, get your appetite trained to be ready to eat at those different times. So keep that in mind. Don't forget to eat lunch. It could be a cold plate. It could be your main meal of the day. And then for your evening meal, try and go a little bit later. Try not to eat too late because remember, you're trying to fuel the more active part of the day. When you're working, you're exercising, you're moving around, doing your chores, things of that nature. If you are waiting until the evening to do your main meal, you're basically feeding your rest and relaxation time, that time when you're about ready to, basically get ready for the next day and go to sleep. So try and keep that main meal a little bit earlier in the day, so tapering down to a little bit later as the evening goes on. So a couple of things to also look at would be the tools that you are using to plate your food. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll just pour a bowl of cereal or we'll grab a plate and fill up that plate. But what are we actually using? So if you look down here at some of the tools that I've got a couple of different bowls. I've got a bigger bowl and I've got a smaller bowl. Now, this smaller bowl is actually like your soup bowl or cereal bowl, and this is actually a vegetable serving bowl. So you can see there's a really big difference in the size of these bowls. And you really should not be using this bowl. This is too big of a bowl to use for your cereal, your soups, or just even your meal if you put it all in a bowl. So try and use something that would be about this size or even smaller. And when you are looking at your the amount that you're using in this bowl, keep in mind you want it to be level. Even at level, this can hold over a cup of food. So these are my measuring cups right here. Here's a 1 cup measure. You can see that's holding more than 1 cup of food. So make sure that you are taking into consideration your serving and your plating methods. Over here, I've got a regular size dinner plate and I've got a salad plate. So you can see once again the difference in those sizes. Go small. So that will really help. And it makes a really big difference when you're thinking about the size of your protein should be about the size of the palm of your hand, thinking about your portion sizes. The size of your carbohydrates, such as your brown rice, you're thinking about the size of your fist or a quarter of your plate. And then when you're thinking about your vegetables, you're trying to use about half of your low carb, low starch vegetables as half of your plate. And if we're just filling up that plate, you can see I've got a lot more room. I can fill up this plate. I could have put bigger piece of meat. I could have put more starch. So we want to try and go with a smaller plate. So again, we're looking at the same amount of food, and these vegetables here, I'm not so worried about. So we can do a half of our plate as these vegetables. We just have to be careful about the other stuff that we might use as far as salad dressings and cheese, bacon bits, croutons, especially if you're doing this with a salad. Another way to keep track of our portion sizes, we'll be using our measuring cups. So 1 cup measure. We also have a half a cup measure. You can use a 1/3 cup measure, 1/4 cup measure. So make sure you're looking at your food labels to see what the actual serving size is. And when you're looking at that food label and you see that that serving size says for 1 cup, but you ate a whole 2 cups, so you ate twice this amount, you've got to double all of those numbers on your food label. That's what you're actually eating. And then don't forget, when you're talking about a tablespoon or a teaspoon, this is what we're talking about. We are not referring to this as a tablespoon or this as a teaspoon. We are using our measuring spoons. So very important to think about that. Speaking of spoons, when you're thinking about your utensils, try and go smaller. So here's a typical fork, and here's actually more like a dessert or salad fork. Use the smaller fork, take smaller bites. Actually allow your meal to last about 20 to 30 minutes. We have a tendency to fill up the whole fork and almost use it like we would a shovel. We're just shoveling that food in, and unfortunately, we've been trained to do that from a very young age, either because of school, work, just hurry up and move on to the next task. So we do want to take our time, actually chew our food, actually enjoy the experience of that meal. That is a part of the Mediterranean meal plan. Remember, you're trying to enjoy your family time, enjoy your social time. Take your meal, time to eat your meal and enjoy that meal. Very, very important. Same thing with your spoons. I see a lot of people that might eat their cereal with this bigger spoon, or even something like yogurt, ice cream. Use a smaller spoon and take smaller bites. You will make that go further. It will take longer to eat. You actually will enjoy it, and it works better on the digestion if you actually chew your food. So keep that in mind versus just take a couple chews and swallowing. You're almost swallowing whole bites of food. So we want to keep that in mind. You can also use your hand as a tool to measure your portion sizes. So again, when you're thinking about your protein, think about the palm of your hand. So this is, again, about 3 to 4 ounces of meat. And you can actually use your scale. If you've got a kitchen scale, you could weigh your meat portion here. Remember, that's your edible portion. So you would want to make sure that this has your fat removed, skin removed, bone removed before you weigh. So this is the edible part that you're actually eating. When you're thinking about your carbohydrates, a quarter of your plate, you can also use your fist. So this is about a 1 cup measure or so. I have a smaller fist. So make sure you use, look at how your fist compares to a 1 cup measure. And keep that carb to about a cup portion on your plate. Especially those of you with diabetes, you want to be careful about how much carb you're eating, but you shouldn't actually just completely avoid your carbs. Your body does need carbohydrates, a quick energy. It is going to give you your fiber, vitamins, minerals. So we want to make sure that we do have healthy carbs, but keep that portion smaller. We don't want to do the whole plate. When you're looking at, your fruit, you could go by about the size of a tennis ball. So this is an orange. So think about the size of a tennis ball when you're thinking about your portion of fruit. So we have lots of different sizes of fruit. We have bananas, small bananas, big bananas. We've got melons, little melons, big melons. So when you're looking at the edible portion, you want to make sure it's about the size of a tennis ball, and that will be 1 serving. If you eat 2 oranges, you've got to remember that was 2 servings that you ate. Even though you ate it at one time, it was 2 servings. Same thing here when you're thinking about your carbs. If you decided to eat 2 fistfuls, even though you ate it as 1 meal, it was 2 servings. And even in a restaurant where you're getting almost a much bigger plate, you may actually have about 3 to 4 servings of carbohydrates there, even though you ate it as 1 meal. Please keep that in mind. When you are looking at your vegetables, vegetables are an easy way to remember. A serving size will be a 1/2 cup cooked or 1 cup raw. So think about like with a salad, okay, there again is that 1 cup measure, your fist, or half your fist as cooked vegetables. But there, I'm not as worried about, are you overeating those vegetables? Unless they're fried, we don't want those fried vegetables. I'm more concerned about, are you under eating? So look at some of your meals. Where are your vegetables? Are you eating about half your plate as those vegetables? That's really going to help with your weight. When you're looking at some of your beverages, like your milks, this is an 8-ounce glass. But a lot of people will just grab the glass out of the cupboard and fill up this and maybe have an entire glass. So you can see you've got, almost twice as much milk right here if you were to fill this up. So keep that in mind. So sometimes it's not so much you need to change your choice, it might be change the amount that you're consuming to help with your weight. When you're looking at your juices, again, a serving of fruit juice would be about 4-6 ounces. But if you're filling up this big glass right here, even if it's just natural, fresh squeezed, a smoothie made with just a bunch of fruit, it could still be a lot of calories, a lot of sugar. So please reduce the amount that you're consuming. It's not necessarily that you're making a bad choice. It could be you're just taking in too much. So some other things that are going to help when it comes to weight. Make sure that you're staying active throughout the day. So getting in your exercise is very helpful. Obviously, we want to make sure we're exercising 5-6 days of the week, but staying active throughout the day. If you've got your hour of exercise in or your 30 minutes of exercise in, that is awesome. But if all you're doing now is sitting at your desk all day or on a screen, watching television, relaxing, then you're not burning as many calories. So we need to be up, moving around. So make sure you check with your exercise specialist about what would be appropriate for you to help keep up with that calorie burning ability. Also make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. A lot of people think, oh, I don't need that much sleep. I just need 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I go to bed at 2 a.m. But when your body needs that sleep, you may not realize it, but your body does. That's time to help with stress management. That is time for your body to heal and recover from the day. So you do need to get about 7 to 8 hours of good restful sleep. So try and, prep your body dim those lights, get off those screens within an hour or so of your bedtime so that you can prep your body. If you're not hungry for your breakfast, then the next day, a lot of people don't eat breakfast because they're not hungry. How late are you eating in the evening? How heavy are those foods in the evening? So again, going back to a point I made earlier, move those heavier meals a little earlier in the day. Taper down how much you're eating as you're heading into bedtime. Also, keep in mind your physical versus mental hunger. A lot of times, if we feel hungry, we'll ignore that. So drink a glass of water. Sometimes we're thirsty, you want to drink that water. So drink your water, see if that settles that physical hunger, or eat something light if it's not mealtime. Mental hunger is something where you're eating because you're bored, you're stressed. Somebody walked into the room with some ice cream and that looks yummy to you, so you eat some as well, even though you weren't hungry for it. So we want to try and do something different for those mental hunger cues. Go for a walk, again, drink that glass of water, read a good book. Some of us might take a bubble bath or, get a massage, something like that. So try and think of some different things that are going to help with that mental hunger. It can really help you with your weight. Stress management, when we are stressed, we have a tendency to release that stress hormone called cortisol, and cortisol does impact our belly weight. So again, trying to see what are some different things that we can do to help with our stress management. And don't forget, our psychosocial counselors are here to help you. So that can help. They can help you with those tools to help with your stress management. So all of these different things are going to help with your weight, with your food portion sizes. Don't forget about your snacks. It's not so much that maybe you broke down and had some cookies or had some chips, but look at, well, did I eat directly from the package? When we're eating directly from the package, we could technically do some mindless eating. And when we're doing that mindless eating, then we're going to potentially overeat. So we do want to be careful about that. Also think about your beverages. A lot of times people will still keep some of your beverages in, and this is 7-Up. This is a 16.9 ounce bottle. So we're getting a lot of sugar, and nowadays we'll also see our sugary beverages in 20 ounce bottles. We get 32 ounce cups of beverages at restaurants. We might get free refills at restaurants. We drink a lot of sugar. So try and keep it sugar free. If you want the diet beverages, that would be up to you. You can use some fruit infused water where you slice up some lemons or limes or oranges to put in that water. Muddle some mint into your water. So you can do a lot of different things to add some different flavor to your water. In a good intake of water, this is, again, let's see, this is a 69 ounce bottle of water as well. So 3 to 4 of these in a day. Those of you following a fluid restriction because of your fluid retention within the body, you might have to drink a little bit less than this. So make sure you follow your doctor's instructions. But cutting back on our sugary beverages and adding in water to replace it is going to be very helpful. Helps clean out that body a little bit. All right, so again, we've got a lot of different tools here that can help you with your weight. It's not just about, how much exercise you got or how many calories you're eating. If you're going to track your nutrition, again, also track those habits. What am I choosing to eat? What am I choosing to consume from my beverages? And then how much am I doing? So keep that all in mind as you're working on your weight management and working on your food portions. All right, I hope you learned a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.